Well, happy Friday to you, Messiah Church. Pastor Tami here. One of the greatest privileges I have as one of your pastors is serving alongside the incredible team that stewards Messiah's Living Ministry Endowment Fund each year. This past Tuesday, the team met and we were able to award over $22,000 in grants to 8 different recipients. Now, the Living Ministry Endowment was established over 13 years ago with the goal of strengthening the mission and the ministry of Messiah Church. Today, that fund has grown to over $440,000, a beautiful testimony to your faithful generosity and God's ongoing work within and through our congregation. This year's recipients include Sadiqa. She is the wife and the mother of our adopted Afghani family, and she is ready for professional driving lessons. This is a big deal to their family, and we are so excited to be able to support her in this way. It also includes funding for 2 different Scout projects that will benefit Bloom. It includes some partial reimbursement for the quilts that are being lovingly and thoughtfully made by Messiah Church members and sent to folks who live on the Pine Ridge Reservation. Last year, we sent almost 100 quilts, and each of those quilts comes at a cost of about $1,000 simply for the quilting that takes place in it. So we're happy to be able to support them with some partial reimbursements for those as that ongoing work continues. There's a grant to Amara International. That's our missionary in Nanuki, Kenya, as we have more moms that are completing their high school education and are ready to be launched into a semi-independent living situation. We call it our launch house. So we're happy to be able to support them in that way with those moms now learning to live independently, but under the umbrella and safety of Amara for a while. There's a grant to Thrive Kenya. That's another mission that we have in Kenya that will go to some needed supplies and structural support to their Homa Bay location, and to the Pine Ridge Reservation organization called Remember that we have supported for years and years as they drive that new veggie wagon around the res. This year they want to have 4 community meals in 4 different locations where they feed everyone a warm and healthy meal. They also hand them a bag of fresh produce that has been grown through Remember, and some special giveaways for items that are much needed in their homes. And finally, to our sister church, IPV, that's United Methodist Church in South Minneapolis, in support of a summer Bible study for their youth group, as these youth are emerging from the trauma of Metro Surge this last year and remembering that God is good and loves them deeply. So I want to say thank you to the Living Ministry Endowment team for their faithful work that they do throughout the year. And congratulations to all of this year's recipients. We look forward to hearing their stories as their projects unfold, and we can see how God is at work through them in this world. All right. Speaking of transformation, this Sunday we're going to continue in our Steward Sermon Series, Transformed by Grace. Last week we looked at one of Jesus's most challenging and revealing parables, the parable of the talents. And we reflected on places in our lives where we hesitate or hide or hold on too tightly to the gifts that God has given us. And we heard once again God's invitation to live not with a scarcity mindset of not enough, but with an abundance mindset and a trust in a generous God who has entrusted us with more than enough. And this week, our message is entitled The Secret of Contentment. Together, we're going to explore what it means to really have enough, and how when we discover that, contentment frees us to use our gifts and our resources for God's purposes. In many ways, these living endowment grants are a beautiful example of this very truth. Gifts that were planted faithfully years ago that have continued to grow and now are blessing others. We're also going to hear from a couple more Messiah members and how they are experiencing God's transforming grace in their lives through the Messiah Church community. And of course, it is Mother's Day this Sunday. You know, it's one of our Lucart family traditions that my mother comes to be with us over this week. She lives in San Diego, but she comes to Minnesota this Mother's Day week. She says it is late enough that the snow has stopped and early enough that the mosquitoes have not arrived. And so this is her week to visit. And I can tell you, she is still adjusting to our Minnesota weather because I don't think she's taken off her winter coat just yet. But she worships with us every Sunday online from the warmth and the beauty of San Diego. But she's here this week, and she is so looking forward to greeting you, her adopted Messiah Church family, in person in worship this week. So if you are in town and you are able, I hope you will plan to worship with us in person. There is nothing like being together as a Messiah Church family as we worship our good and loving and generous God. But if you're not able to be there in person, we look forward to having you join us online. And I hope you know that wherever you are today, you are loved, you are prayed for, and you are deeply appreciated. So until Sunday, take care and God bless.